So let's talk about the Orlando Magic. And let's try to see if there is some excitement to come from this Orlando season. I think if there's going to be some fun things to happen, it's going to be on the defensive side of the floor. It's going to be Aaron Gordon and Jonathan Isaac doing some crazy things on fast breaks. And it's going to be seeing the potential of these guys starting to show itself. Because in terms of actual wins, I don't know how many you're really going to see from this team, because I just don't know if they're going to be able to score enough points. Also, still a decently young team with Isaac and Gordon and Mo Bamba, of course. But that doesn't mean that there still can't be value in this season. So, if we can just get to the makeup of this team first. The unfortunate thing is that Nikola Vucevic is just standing right there in the middle, and I really wish he wasn't there. Sure, he's got some value offensively and stuff, but the future of this team is in the fact that you've got Isaac, Bamba, and Aaron Gordon, right? 3 athletes who can defend a few positions and play bigger than they actually are, right? The question is, can you get all 3 of those guys on the floor together? And if you can't, which combinations are going to be the best ones? Because again, all 3 of these guys have some real potential defensively, athleticism-wise. I think the first thing you could look at is that Isaac and Gordon played about 135 minutes together last season, and they were a positive, which is difficult to do for a team that won, 27 games or whatever the Magic won. Now, of course, Isaac only played 27 games total. We would love to see a bigger sample size, but based on what we've seen so far, actually kind of okay. The thing here, I think it comes down to the shooting, right? Gordon's shooting has gotten a little better. Jonathan Isaac, based on things that I've seen out in the world, seems like he's committed to being a guy who can make threes. He shot 35% on a little under 2 a game, which, again, not the biggest sample size, but based on the evidence that we have of Isaac so far, seems like it could work with him and Gordon together, because both of them are getting a little better on their jump shots, of course. And then also, both of them have some ball handling ability. These guys are, they have the bodies of, power forwards, and in the case of Isaac, if he keeps growing, maybe a center. But they have, guard-like skills, somewhat. So, there's a lot of creativity between them. Does that mean Isaac plays center and Gordon plays power forward? Does that mean Gordon's at the 4, Isaac's at the 3? I really don't know, but I do think you can make it work as long as the shooting is at least somewhat there. And then, of course, you've got DJ Augustin and Fournier, where, those two are very good 3-point shooters. And then Jonathan Simmons is not as good as those two, but I think he's still something. But I guess the negative to this could be, maybe Gordon and Isaac's shooting is not really there at all, and even if they're really athletic, they're not athletic enough. They're not freaks of nature enough to make up for the fact that spacing is just really important. But we'll have to see. I'm definitely intrigued on that. Now, if you put Mo Bamba in there, and you have all 3 of these guys in there, one of them is forced to go to the small forward spot. I don't know if that could totally work. I'm assuming that they believe it can, because, they drafted Mo Bamba. So, yeah, amongst those 3, I think I would give Isaac the best chance, just because, I don't know, based on the evidence we have, it just seems like he's a little farther along as a shooter than Aaron Gordon is. It's taken Aaron Gordon how long to get to 34% from 3? It's not exactly the best sign in the world. Now, if you could have all 3 of them out there, if we can get back to a positive note, that could be, menacing on defense. Because, we all know about Bamba's rim protection and his ability to switch, if he ends up being what a lot of scouts think he can be. And then you've got Gordon, who I will say I'm a little disappointed where he's at defensively at this point. Not to say he's bad. I think he's a pretty decent defender. But to me, he's got the potential to be a great one because of, his strength. I feel like he's in that Draymond Green area of height where you're just at the right place to where it's you can get under certain guys, but then you can also still be strong enough to defend the post and all that. And I just think he could be a bit better, but he's still, not bad. And then it seems like Isaac can just be an all-world defender because he's like 6'10", and he can defend like he's a shooting guard. So if you've got all three of those guys out there, that really could be something. Now, I think Isaac's got to get stronger. I think Bamba's got to get stronger. There's a chance they could get bodied up on the boards or whatever, or you could just score on Bamba in the low post. But it's still a whole hell of a lot of potential and a lot of potential switchability and all that I can understand why Orlando would be intrigued by that. But again, I do think they are risking this team not being able to score more than 85 points a game. I think in a perfect world, they could turn Nikola Vucevic into a wing shooter. But if they could have done that, I'm sure they would have done it already. Maybe they would have been willing to do that, and then Biyombo has been a massive disappointment, so they said, well, we might as well just go with Vuce because he does something at center. And then if Bamba ends up being legit, then maybe they would be a bit more aggressive with moving Vucevic. And actually, now that I think about it, maybe a scoring wing or a shooting wing wouldn't even be the best thing. Maybe it would be a point guard who can really initiate offense, because if the Aaron Gordons of the world could have a point guard the defense really needs to respect, and not DJ Augustine, who, he's not a bad shooter, but that's about all he's got going for him. But if you could get somebody who's better, then that could just get some more opportunities for these big dudes, And I do think Isaac and Gordon and Bamba, they're going to need all the help they can get in terms of just being able to score, because they're not all the most natural of offensive players, Their calling cards are athleticism, size, versatility, defense. So if someone like a Kemba Walker showed up on this team, that would be huge. Whether that'll actually happen and whether that would actually be smart to do, given that he's on a one-year deal, that's a different conversation, but they could really use someone like that. I like Evan Fournier, but I think it's pretty much established at this point that he's like a third option offensively. He's going to put up his 16 to 19 points a game, and he's going to be efficient, but that's about what he is. He's not going to lead your offense. He's not going to be an assist guy. And yeah, that's kind of the Orlando Magic for you. To speak on some of the younger dudes that I don't know much about, between Justin Jackson, who could be a good versatile wing, and Isaiah Briscoe, Jarrell Martin, Kem Birch, I'm not going to act like I know much about these dudes. If any of these guys can end up being something, that would be awesome, of course. Yeah, this team's really committing to defense and size and all that stuff, and I can see why you would be interested in that. It's just, we could be seeing a situation, and I don't think we're really going to find this out this year. We could see little signs of it in terms of Gordon and Isaacs, and Bamba, we should mention him, their shooting. But still, this could be a situation where we fast forward 4 years and they were like, oh crap, we can't score. So yeah, should be mentioned, everything I said here, if I can continue my Nikola Vucevic hate, a lot of it's going to be bogged down because he's still going to start, which I think is fine. I do think it makes sense to start him over Mo Bamba right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if 15 games into the year, it's like, oh wait, Bamba's clearly the better player already. And then it's going to be kind of awkward, and maybe you could trade Vucevic. I don't think it would be very smart to buy him out, because who the hell is going to sign with this team anyway? You might as well just get all of his money off the books. But yeah, again, I don't think this team's going to win that much this year, but I do think it could be a very interesting season in terms of development and seeing some highlight plays, and I think we're going to learn a lot about this team's future this year. You assume Isaac's healthy, we get 1 year of Bamba. That'll show us a lot.